That was when my life flashed before my eyes. The contraction started. That was when I knew the difference between false labor and the true one, because the false one, yeah, it was just there. The true one, oh my gosh. For me, Merlin, yes, as the Merlin that I am, I wanted to do it naturally without the epidural. Aiden is now 6 months old. Oh my God, I feel like an experienced mom, because what do you mean I have a 6 months old child? Hmm. Anyways, now that he's 6 months old, I'm finally ready to talk about my birthing experience, because yeah, it was a lot. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time I sat down to talk to you people like this. So let's get into it. I posted my first trimester journey, finding out I was pregnant and all that, second trimester, gender reveal and all that, and then third trimester, and also I showed you guys where, hey, there's a baby. But yeah, of course, y'all didn't see a lot because it was a lot. A lot happened, and it was just my husband and I, so we're trying to survive. And honestly, I really could care less about whether the cameras were rolling or not. So now let's talk about it. If you watched my vlogs, I'll link them in the description just in case you haven't watched them. You know that around, was this second or third trimester, the when I did my glucose test, um, when I did my glucose test, my sugar level was slightly higher than normal, and so we're trying to manage it so that it doesn't result in gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes simply means diabetes from pregnancy. So yeah, I was doing everything, diet. I was eating the most unsweet things during that period, just so that I can, manage the sugar and whatnot. And it will come down, go back up, come down, go back up. So right before I was going to travel to Canada, I was given a medication by the endocrinologist in the hospital I was using here in Lagos to manage the sugar. I was supposed to take it for just 7 days. And then right after the seventh day, I had an appointment with my OB in Canada. So I took the medication as prescribed, and then the day I went to see my OB, he then asked me to go do another glucose test there to see how far, whether it worked, whether the medication worked, and where we are at. And when they checked, lo and behold, the sugar was normal. The medication worked. However, in pregnancy, or at least from my experience, when your sugar level has increased like that and it was managed using medication, you still have to be watched. Now, if you're wondering what is so bad about your sugar being slightly high, number one, you could have gestational diabetes. Mine was high, but it wasn't to the point where it's termed diabetes, if that makes sense. However, if not managed, it could have gotten there. Now, if it gets there, what are the risks? You are likely going to have a cesarean section because your baby is going to be big, a macrosomic baby, which you will not be able to push out the baby. Also, it could result in stillbirth, that you give birth and your baby has already passed out, as it's already dead, God forbid. Also, you, the mother, could end up having diabetes after the pregnancy. So these are some of the major risks. And so that's why I was being watched, to avoid it getting to diabetes and so that it can basically be managed. So yeah. Also, because of the whole situation, my OB here in Lagos already told me that I will most likely not get to my due date, because the longer the baby stays, the higher the risk of it getting to diabetes and then all these other things I just talked about. So when I got to Canada, of course, my hospital here had written a medical record summary or something to give to my doctor so that he too can see what they've done so far and he can take it up from there. So he saw it, saw the medication that I had taken, all of that. Then said I should go take the glucose test, I should go do another glucose test, which I did. The sugar had crashed. But because it was a medication that helped the sugar to crash, We can't just relax and say, oh, all is well, so just proceed as if nothing happened. No, he said he was still going to treat me like I had high sugar. Better to prevent it than to let it happen. So already he said I will not exceed my due date. You know that if you're pregnant, your due date is 40 weeks from the first day of your last period. That's how it's calculated. So, especially for your first pregnancy, you could exceed your due date. Some women give birth at 40 days and some 40 weeks and some days, some 41 weeks. I think the max they let you get to is 42 weeks because after 42 weeks, it becomes really dangerous for your baby to still be in there. So, 41 weeks and some days. Yeah, after 42 weeks, for the most part, they induce you or just remove the baby through CS. Anyways, so because of my case, the doctor already said I will not exceed 40 weeks. No. So the hope was for me to go into labor before 40 weeks. And, baby comes out all good, all good. Everything was going fine, really. From 30 weeks, my baby was already head down, which is it's a great position when your baby is already head down at that time. Fantastic. So we ran all the tests. I had to redo all my blood work when I got to Canada, and we did all the blood work. Everything was fine. So everything we're just waiting for me to go into labor, and baby comes out. Everything is good. I was also doing scans every. I think it was every week or every 2 weeks. I was doing scan just for them to be sure that the baby is measuring well. Because um, like I said, if you have diabetes or there's any one of the things is the baby will be growing really big. So doing the scan, checking that the baby is measuring well, amongst other things, will also let the doctor know that things seem to be going fine. So from 38 week, me, you already watched my vlogs, you know that I was doing everything to go into labor. I wanted to give birth at 38 weeks so bad. Honestly, thinking about it, I don't even know why it was 38 weeks specifically. But yeah, I wanted to give birth at 38 weeks. Like I did everything. When they say you squat, it will help you go into labor. I did squats. Cob walking, I did cob walking. There's this drink they said if you get from Starbucks, it induces labor. I bought it more than once. You all saw my vlogs now. I did the workout on YouTube that help induce labor naturally. Work. They said take there's this tea, raspberry leaf tea. Oh, I took it. Work. Pineapple. I took pineapple. However, I was taking it carefully because pineapple is sweet, and I had the sugar thing I still had in mind. But I did take pineapple. The only thing I did not take was dates. I didn't take dates because dates are very sweet. And in as much as I wanted to go into labor, I also didn't want to spike my sugar, so I had to balance it out. But I did all that, it didn't work. So when I went for my 38 weeks appointment, my doctor tried to check me to see if there's any dilation so that he could have a membrane sweep to help me go into labor. No dilation. 39 weeks, no dilation. Mind you, by the time I went for my 38 weeks appointment, my doctor already told me that he will schedule an induction for 39 weeks and 6 days. The man really wanted me to go into labor naturally. And that's why he picked 39 weeks and 6 days, which is just the day before my due date, hoping that I go into labor naturally before then and I won't have to be induced. Now, I really do not want to be induced because induction of labor, from all I've read, from all I've videos I've watched, can be very painful. Now, if you use an epidural, it could relieve you of the pain. But me, Merlin, yes, as the Merlin that I am, I wanted to do it naturally without the epidural. Yes, I wanted to have a natural birth without the epidural. So I didn't want induction because I felt like with induction of labor, I'll have to use an epidural or it's going to be very, very painful. Anyways, fast forward 39 weeks, nothing. 39 weeks and 5 days. Because, yes, the day before my induction, I went to see the doctor, nothing. At some point at 38 weeks, I had some forced labor, forced contractions, and in my head, I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is happening. Now, nothing. 39 weeks and 6 days in the morning, we packed our bags, just as you saw in the vlog, went to the hospital. They started me on, they started induction at 11 a.m. and they started it with putting a balloon catheter. You can do your research. Basically, it's putting a balloon in there. The balloon is going to inflate to helping your pelvic. I must have still been traumatized from this birth experience because tell me why I kept calling cervix pelvis. Anyways, anywhere you hear pelvic is cervix, I meant to say. To help open it so that, and once it opens, dilation start, blah blah blah, all of that. So they put it in me. I was like, go home, try to walk around so that to help with the contractions, help with the labor process and all that, which we did. We went back home. I took a walk around the park, and the contraction started. That was when I knew the difference between forced labor and the true one, because the first one, yeah, it was just there. The true one, oh my gosh, my life was flashing before my eyes. Because what? So after some hours, I went back to the hospital, and when they removed the balloon and checked, I was already 5 centimeters dilated. I was like, ooh, okay, okay, someone is handling it so well. At this point, no epidural. When you go into labor naturally, your body is ready, your baby is ready. So yes, it's painful. But when you are then induced, your body is not ready. Your baby is not ready. So they are forcing your body to be ready. It hurts. Even before I went back to the hospital, I was throwing up, stooling at the same time. Like, it was painful. Yes. So, but when they took out the balloon, I was already 5 centimeters. And the doctor was like, wow, you're progressing really well. You're progressing really fast. You're doing well. Blah, blah, blah. So at that point, they were now going to give me Pitocin. Oxytocin is the hormone that helps your contractions, hit back to back and help you dilate. Pitocin is artificial oxytocin to help with the process, right? So, they started me up on Pitocin. Mind you, the Pitocin, they increase the dosage I think every 30 minutes or so. They increase it, increase it, increase it. So they were increasing the dosage, increasing the dosage. I was still chilling, increasing it. By the time it got to like 8, is it 8 mm or what they call it? Like yeah, at level 8, I think at 8 mm of the Pitocin, maybe those contractions became crazy. Like before one will finish and I'm able to like breathe, another one has come. And they were strong. I've at this point I've done antenatal classes. So they've told us that when the contractions get to that point where it's really strong and it's back to back, like every 1 minute or every 1 to 2 minutes is hitting and is strong, you're probably already around 8 centimeters, like in active labor. Active labor is between 8 to 10 centimeters, right? So mine was hitting back like not 2 minutes. This was like every 1 minute. It was so strong. Like I could not talk through those contractions. Like when they say, because my mom had told me when contractions happen, don't cry, just try to breathe. And at that point, my breathing was all over the place. I was fighting for my life. And before I finished handling one, another one has come. So it was that strong. So I was convinced that I've gotten to active labor. Because what? When you're being induced, right? They also hook a monitor on your stomach because they want to also monitor the baby's heart rate. Because those contractions can get so strong, it could affect the baby. So they need to know that the baby is also doing fine, so there's no issues. The baby was doing fine and I felt like using toilet. You know how they say it? If you're in labor or you're contracting and you say you want to use the toilet, it could mean that the baby is right there. So they were like, hold on, let me hold on. Let them check, right? Let's not be that is when you think you're going to use toilet, baby's head just pops. Tell me why they check. The nurse checked first. I was like, you're still 5 centimeters. I'm like, no, that's not possible. No. The contractions I had hours ago when I was 5 centimeters and the ones I have now, they are not mates. They are not close. So, what do you mean I'm still at 5? What's this progression hours later with all the pain and I'm still at 5? I literally told my husband she doesn't know her job because I wasn't even in the mood. That particular nurse wasn't so friendly. So I was telling my husband that don't mind her, that she doesn't even know her job because what does she mean I'm still at 5? What? So I waited for my OB to come because after she checked and she was like, I'm still at 5, she unhooked the monitor so that I can go use the toilet. There was nothing coming out, though. It was just pressure and pain. No baby's head was there. So she hooked me back and then she was like, my doctor is going to come and check me as well. My OB came back and checked me and I was still at 5. That was when my life flashed before my eyes. Mind you, I need to get to 10 to be able to push. I was still at 5. And my doctor, and this particular check, because first of all, those checks are very uncomfortable, they're painful, very invasive, but this particular one was particularly painful and invasive. That was when he told me that the baby's head is swollen, he's not really descending into the birth canal, and so we have to do a cesarean section. I'm not gonna lie, at this point, I don't remember if I cried, but I'm pretty sure I was so upset because that was the last thing I wanted. Now, why did I not want to see it? Simple. Because from everything I had read and heard, recovering from cesarean section was much more difficult than from vaginal birth. And I wanted to recover quickly. I wanted to recover as soon as possible. I wanted to recover well. And I did exercise. I worked out. I ate right. I walked. I prayed. I worshipped. I I did everything to not have a cesarean section. Everything. And even when I was shopping for stuff postpartum, I did not do any research on things I would need if I give birth to CS. So I didn't buy anything to help with the CS recovery. Nothing, because everything I had done and planned was for the vaginal birth. So it felt like when he said there's like and then, oh, that's also why I didn't use an epidural, because they said when you use an epidural, sometimes it can slow down the process and all that and all that. I did not want the process to be slowed down. I wanted to feel all the pain and then get through it. So after everything, hours of pain, mind you, my induction started at 11 a.m. This was already like 1 a.m. the next day. So we had entered my due date. Yes. After all that, for you to tell me I'm still going to do a CS, I just started screaming, remove all these things from me. Because at this point, mind you, the pitocin was still hitting me. And I'm still feeling the pain. And I'm still going to go to a CS. I was like, please remove these things from me. Remove this thing from me. What's the whole point? My husband was just holding me like, babe, please calm down. Calm down. I was like, what is the point? What's the point of all this? I should have just done CS from the beginning. I swear it was a hard news for me to take. And then at this point, I was in so much pain. I was just frustrated. And then they brought the papers for me to like sign for like consent and all. And it took me to the theater. At this point, they gave me epidural because I had to now take it because of the surgery. I was awake, but I was just in and out of it. I was tired. I'd labored for hours at this point. So I was so tired. I was thirsty. So yeah, I was awake, but I wasn't really, I don't know, I wasn't really feeling everything that was around me. I'm not going to lie, at some point when the surgery started, I felt like I was no more in this world. Everything was blur, I, everything was just blur, everything was, I don't know, I really don't know. And My husband was just holding my hands. In less than 5 minutes from when the surgery started, I heard a baby faintly crying. He was crying and I could hear it faintly. And I was like, is he out? Is he out? Is he out? And my husband was like, yes, he's out. He's fine. Is this? And the doctor screamed, oh, he just peed on me. And everybody was, laughing. And me, I was just in and out of it. And my husband was like, because they'll quickly clean the baby, quickly measure the baby. Right before they brought out the baby, they were telling my husband, hope your camera is active. Turn on your camera. You have to snap this. You have to snap this. So he snapped it, they measured the baby, everything. And then he was like, do you want to hold him? I was like, no, because I was shaking. It's like, no, I can't hold him. I was shaking and I was afraid that if I hold him, I'll probably mistakenly throw the baby because I was shaking. Like I was not myself. I don't know. God just really saw me through because I don't know. At that between the time they came to tell me that I was going to have a CS, to right after they brought me out of the theater, I was in and out of it. I wasn't myself. So my husband was the one who did the skin to skin first and all of that with the baby. They carried me back to, the labor and delivery room. And I think it was at that point that I started getting myself small, small. They brought the baby, I put the baby to breast. And that's when I started realizing that, oh, my baby's out now. I'm a mommy now, And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. I had an unplanned cesarean section and it was a lot. It was a lot. I felt like everything that I had planned didn't happen. And like I would say, it's okay to mourn the birth you did not have. Yes, it's okay to mourn the birth you did not have, but after mourning it, just move on. Yes, just move on. Move on. Such is life. Move on. You need to be strong for yourself, for your baby. And I remember before giving birth, I prayed so much for my postpartum recovery. I do not know why, but I think the week before, so I prayed so much for it. My husband prayed for it too with me. And yeah, look at me now, 6 months postpartum, and I think I've recovered pretty well. I'm still recovering, but it's gone and it's still going pretty well. And I'm thankful to God for it. I'm really thankful to God for it. How He helped us, just my husband and I, just the two of us, with me recovering from an unplanned CS and all that. And somehow God really helped us, We're able to come back to Nigeria with the baby safely and everything. Maybe I'll do a separate video on some things I did, to help my recovery. It's pretty much on my TikTok. I have a series on my TikTok, things I wish I knew before giving birth. And in a lot of those videos, I spoke about some things I've done, I'm still doing, to help my recovery and all that and all that. But yeah, this video is just to tell you that sometimes you plan, things go differently. Still trust God. Still trust God. I didn't have a vaginal birth, but I didn't have diabetes. I didn't have gestational diabetes. I don't have diabetes postpartum. My baby came out as blood sugar, awesome, healthy baby, strong. You know, it could have gone wrong. A lot of things could have gone wrong. A lot of things it could have been worse, but God's mercy, God's mercy. So that's basically my birth story. This postpartum mom here is grateful, super grateful. We're glowing, we're thankful, and yeah, I just thought to share my experience. And if also I noticed that there are a lot of Nigerian women that when they give birth to C-section, it's almost like they're ashamed to say it. I don't know why. I said, like, anybody who comes to you and tells you that you give birth through the easier route, I'm not going to curse you out, but I hope you educate yourself, because recovering from a C-section is hard, is difficult, and nobody should ever make you feel guilty. What? It's difficult. So whether you give birth through the vagina or C-section, they are both difficult. And I know that because I went through contractions. I went through it all. Okay? So yes, I know that. So yeah, carry your badge of honor as a mother, because what? Yeah. Fun fact, my father's birthday is 1st October. So, yeah, Aiden and his granddad share the same birthday. So, let's just say maybe that was a beautiful birthday gift for my father. He became a granddad um, on that day, and he just happened to share same birthday with his grandson, his first grandchild. So, yeah, that's actually special. And the funny thing is, the Bible says the thoughts, He has towards us thoughts of good and not of evil to give us an expected end. So always bear that in mind. He loves you. His thoughts for you are thoughts of good. And that's all I'm going to say. And the funny thing is, when I kept saying I wanted to give birth at 38 weeks, my brother Jason constantly and always told me that he will give birth at 40 weeks on 1st October. And whenever he said that, it would piss me off. Like I'll tell him, I beg Joe, I'm here telling you to pray for me. Said I'm going to labor before then. You're telling me that. No, no, no. He always said it. He always said it. He always said it. And yeah, he told me, Vava, it's divine timing. It's divine timing. He will come on 1st October. He always told me that. And he always pissed me off because I wanted to be done over with the whole pregnancy thing before the 1st of October. Also because I just knew that I was going to be induced if it didn't happen before then, and I did not want to get induced. So yeah, I guess he was right. Divine timing. And lastly, CS is not a curse. Okay, it's not a curse. And there are some women out there that they will tell you that it's a taboo to have CS in my lineage. It's a taboo to this, that, kinika. CS can save your life, quite literally. It's a procedure needed sometimes to save mother and child. Okay? So if it's something needed for you to do for whatever reasons, maybe you have gestational diabetes, you have preeclampsia. Preeclampsia is high blood pressure when you're pregnant. Or you have a very big baby, they're telling you delivering this baby through vagina will be difficult, or just one thing or the other, and they are recommending that you have a cesarean section. Please don't sit down there and say it's a taboo. It's a this, God will never allow it. This, that. If it's something you need to do, please do it. Please do it. Do not hesitate. Save yourself, save your baby. Okay? It's better to have a healthy baby alive and you alive than to be fighting tooth and nail that you want to have vaginal birth by thunder, by strike, and then things go wrong. Yes, there are cases of people being stubborn about it and then it turned out fine for them. But you don't want to live your life on such huge probabilities when it can really just be avoided. Okay? So, yeah, please, if there's one takeaway from this video, God's plans for you, thoughts of good, not of evil, to give you an expected end. Have a good doctor, one that will always, give recommendations, not because they want to make more money from you or whatever, for your own good, for the good of your baby. And also have a supportive partner. Have a supportive partner. There's this lady I saw on TikTok that was in labor for days, why her partners told her that it's a taboo to give birth to CS in their family. And this woman had to labor for days. Thankfully, baby came out well, she came out well, but dang. God. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.